He did indeed.
I guess Bill Clinton did too.
And Bill Clinton did, yeah.
We don't talk much about the Dayton Peace Accords, but
no.
they were an accomplishment at the time.
Or the Good Friday Accords, which were also under Clinton.
Yeah, maybe it's a Democratic thing. I kind of had hoped that Obama would be able to do that, but it turned out he was pretty warmongery himself. We're going to continue to follow this, John, but do you want to just briefly talk a little bit about tomorrow? We're going to see rival demonstrations and parades. The U.S. government is going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army and Donald Trump's birthday, but that's just a coinkydink. Tomorrow in Washington, D.C. with the first military parade showing big bang bang weapons that we've seen for a long time. I guess the Gulf War Victory Parade was the last time in 1991.
Yeah, that was the last time. It was June of 1991. And I'll tell you, Ted, I'm in Washington right now. I drove here a few hours ago from Arlington, Virginia, and everything is closed. Wow. Every major thoroughfare is closed. It was ridiculous how I ended up getting here today. Taking paths through Rock Creek Park that I didn't even know existed. But there are tanks freaking everywhere that you look, tanks and armored personnel carriers. There are going to be lots of flybys, both fighter jets and helicopters. It's going to be a big deal, unnecessarily so. It's going to cost, I think the Pentagon said, $134 million. It's going to completely wreck the streets, which is what happened in 91 with the Gulf Victory Parade.
Yeah, because of the tank treads, people.
Tank treads completely tear up the streets. You can't even drive on them afterwards.
Yeah, they have to immediately be repaved. I mean, talk about an unforced error. And at the same time, there's a series of demonstrations that are expected to be in as many as 200 American cities, including here in New York City, called the No Kings protests, which are kind of being organized by the same people as the hands-off protests from April, the 50-51 people. So it's sort of like an alliance of the usual sort of, I hate to say it, Democratic Party aligned kind of groups like Move On and the ACLU and so on. That's all taking place. Interestingly, they did not call for one in D.C. because they didn't want to risk any kind of violent conflict with the federal government or with the Trump administration. I can't decide whether that's wise out of an abundance of caution, or if it's a cowardly abdication of the expression of the First Amendment in the nation's capital. I literally don't know which it is.
Donald Trump did say a couple of days ago that if anybody messed with his parade, he was going to come down with an iron fist.
I believe him.
It may have frightened people off.
Well, I'm sure that's the idea, right? That's the whole point of bullying.
Yep.
So those demos are going to happen tomorrow. I mean, I imagine a big part of the focus is going to be deportations. What is your sense of the mood of the country on deportations? I mean, the polls show that most Americans still are in favor of deportations. It's certainly far more Republicans than Democrats, but it's not like the idea of throwing out undocumented workers is unpopular with the public, but there seems to be some discomfort with the methods.
It is the methods that bother people. Immigration officers wearing masks and snatching people out of courtrooms or off the streets, or summoning them to an office, presumably to have a visa extended or to get their green cards, and then snatching them and deporting them before they could even ask for a hearing. It's the methods that people are uncomfortable with. You're right, though. The polls show that people want these deportations to take place. I'm wondering, though, what happens when we can't staff restaurants, we can't staff, chicken processing plants or pork processing plants, that there's nobody to pick the fruits and vegetables. Then what do we do?
I mean, it's going to be even, and that seems abstract, right? But like right here in New York City, where I live, every restaurant has undocumented workers working in the kitchen, cleaning and cleaning the dishes. They all do. So, you're going to go eat, and suddenly, you're going to be waiting an hour for your meal, where you would have been out in an hour. It's going to be, I think the inconvenience is going to be like overnight. And it's not just from the people who are being deported, ironically at about less than half the rate that Obama was doing it. But,
That's right.
But it's the chilling effect. I mean, if I'm undocumented and I can afford it or finagle away, I'm hiding out at home. I'm acting like it's COVID, and I'm like not going outside, right? Ordering in, you will not see me. I will become pale from not seeing the sun. I mean, there's got to be a lot of people who are really laying low and not going to work.
Yeah. Here in the DC area, there have been a couple of incidents where school children have been snatched right out of school and deported immediately, just within hours. Students are having rallies just to show support, but the damage is done. The person is gone. And there was an article in the Washington Post last week saying that 8 restaurants were raided in Washington. It was sort of a test run to see if it was going to be doable, and it worked. But it's got people panicked. People who've been here in some cases for years and have been working in these restaurant kitchens for years. And now they have to worry if they're going to be just scooped up and put on a plane somewhere.
I mean, to me, the big lie of this whole movement to do mass deportations was that there were a whole shit ton of really skeevy, like Venezuelan gangbanger assholes who were going into like CVS and clearing off the shelves. And there were some people like that, a few thousand maybe in the entire country. But that's it. And the vast majority, 99% of these people they have a lower crime rate than everybody else. They keep their noses down, their heads down, their noses down. They stop at every stop sign. They signal before they change lanes. They're just here to work. And they were let in. They were let in by both parties. I mean, that's the thing is like, so now where are these gangbangers that you're supposedly deporting? These are like, women and children and literally children, high school kids here in New York City being deported, and people are not going to go to. It just seems like it's so toxic for society.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I'm worried about it. And John Meter asks an important question. Why haven't there been any raids in Texas? Good question.
Well, what's the answer? I don't know.
Why
Texas?
Well, how about, I'm speculating, maybe to protect small businesses run by Republicans. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously it's the biggest border state, right? In terms of having the border.
That's right.
It has the longest border by far. Probably more illegals who snuck across went through Texas than anywhere else.
I would
think so. And California. Wow. So what do you expect to see tomorrow? Big turnout? No turnout? Everything always depends on publicity, the weather, and sort of the intangible. Yeah,
it's going to pour all day here in Washington tomorrow. So frankly, I'm not expecting a ton of people for this military parade. I think the demonstrations, there are going to be 50 demonstrations in 50 states. I think that's where the real people are going to be.
Yeah. So, and I think they'll get a lot of coverage because the media is so anti-Trump.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And there's going to be a lot to update people on vis-a-vis Iran tomorrow as well.
There will. And so we should probably leave it there. We are going to be back here for our regular broadcast at 12 noon Eastern time, Saturday morning. That's tomorrow in just a few hours. So we'll be back to bring you all the latest from overnight. And thank you so much. Akudini is saying, generously donated some money, says it would be great if it was on daily. Well, that's the intention.
Well, so we're talking about that. Yes. Yeah, that's the goal.
In fact, we will have one of the things we'll be discussing tomorrow will be partly about how we're going to move toward that. So
that's right.
Sooner rather than later, maybe. I mean, who knows?
That's right.
So yeah, there's good things in the works, and hopefully they'll all manifest the way we want. And then we'll be talking to you Monday through Friday. and maybe if there's breaking news on the weekend. So thank you
Great.
so much for listening. Again, like, share, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. Subscribe, do the right thing, and we'll do the right thing and keep coming back. Thanks, John. As always, see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.